Cinema Swirl! Can I top you off, hun? It's episode number 41. Hello, everyone there. It's waitress Kevin Mahan here from the South in the 50s. Join us, as always, in this dance through Tinseltown, Hollywood, California way is what they call it these days. Sam Chaplin, my OTP, who's not seen any of the films. How you getting on, Sam? Merry New Year to you.
Merry New Year. Welcome to 2019. I'm doing pretty well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. I'm full of New Year spirit. 'Tis the season of a whole new set of seasons. What will these seasons bring us? Perhaps summer, autumn, fall and winter, and the other one. I believe there's an additional one. Sam, have you got any New Year's resolutions?
Watch more films. That's what I'm going to do in this new year. Watch more films. On Cinema Swirl.
On Cinema Swirl.
There you go.
That's Cinema Swirl at the podcast you're listening to. .com.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see you here for another year, fresh start.
Yeah, new year, new me.
New year, new you. Are you going to be living your truth this year, Sam?
I think so. Yeah, I reckon I'll be living my truth.
I've reached a point in my life where any sort of phrase of live your blank is really funny to me. I mean, I don't know if you see the new McDonald's ads that they've got. It says, live your best lunch. It's so,
that's great, though.
I don't think they're being ironic, like.
No, live your best lunch.
Oh, man, I hope they'll come out with Live, Laugh, Lunch soon, like, as the next one. Look, you just have that hung up. You know, in a nice, tasteful font, in a large A2 glass thing we got at the works. So, here today, Sam, to talk about another movie from the master of deception. We've been trapped in his cube for many years.
Yes.
Stanley Rubik's. Stanley Kubrick. We put up a bit of a poll for this one, Sam. How did the voting go down?
The voting went down. It was quite interesting. I didn't know which one people would go for. We had a far and away clear winner.
Who are our entries? Who
are our contestants here in the...
We've Dr. Strangelove from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Who spends time at his mum's flat and would like you to come have biscuits with her.
We've had a Laura laughs.
We had Dr. Strangelove.
Full Metal Jacket and 2001 A Space Odyssey.
AKA the thinking man's vote.
Yeah.
Not sorry everyone who just went and voted for the war movie like I knew you all would.
Well, the winner was Full Metal Jacket. The other two were pretty much bang on even.
The one thing I did notice though, Sam, I might take it up at the Electoral Commission and the voting ombudsman.
Sure.
But I did notice that for some reason, Dr. Strangelove, although not receiving anywhere near the correct number of votes to win, did receive the highest number of votes accidentally typed out in the comment section as opposed to the reaction as instructed very, very fucking clearly.
No. Hey, now.
It's skewed old, that one, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure somewhere my dad just picked up his phone and went, Dr. Strangelove, and spoke into it and hoped that his vote would somehow be registered. It's 2019, we use reactions.
We tried a new thing, and it worked very well, but some people did vote the old-fashioned way, which I understand. I understand that if you're used to something from the old days, or from, last year...
Well, we used to have to pay 2 and 6 to go vote back in the day. Or whatever the fuck it was, like. Get with the times, people. The reason why Brexit came is because you didn't vote with your reaction. It was meant to be the shocked face. Yeah. And you all wrote down, no, I would not like to, or yes, I would like to. You ruined it, you idiots.
But, Full Metal Jacket was the winner. War.
Oh, war. Here we go again. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing, mate.
Well, tell that to the maker of this movie, Stanley Kubrick, who had a great time making this one. But before we get into the mysterious world of Full Metal Jacket, let's dive into the here and now of the mailbag.
Welcome to the mailbag.
Yo!
No.
We're in the mailbag.
What?
Oh, I'm just saying, because we have to brand the segments hard, like, and I don't feel the mailbag's got there. So I think if we just repeat where it is and where we're at with it, like, you know.
Mailbag.
Mailbag. Yo, you're in the mailbag with Kevin and Sam here.
Oh, I thought you said no rather than yo.
Oh!
I said welcome to the mailbag and you just went, no. No, take it again. Do it again.
How many times do you think with like Run DMC and the kind of the old hip hop where yo was used a lot, where the guy would say yo and he's like, oh, I thought you were enjoying our freestyle rap here and you just gonna disregard it? I thought you'd join in and you do a bit, D. Come on. What the fuck? Like, you're lucky it's not just MC, because it would make sense if you were gone. That's all I'm saying. It would make a lot of sense.
I thought you genuinely were like unhappy with my introduction to the mailbag. No. Are you rushing or are you dragging? Go again. That's a reference to a movie. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be doing those now, like a big boy?
It's great. I saw Whiplash recently and it was... Oh, it made me very anxious. It's a difficult film to watch.
It is.
It's really good, but it's hard.
If you've not seen J.K. Simmons play a Nazi in Oz, you'll never look at J.K. Simmons the same way again.
I haven't seen that, but it was a tough watch, but it was a good watch. Welcome to the mailbag.
Yo, we're in the mailbag. No, check it. We're in the mailbag.
If you've got questions to send into the mailbag, why don't you send them on in to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.mailbag.
Or over on facebook.com/cinemaswirl.
Mailbag.
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 So
mailbag.
Our first question here has come in on cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
The subject line here is Sam.
That's you, so it is.
The sender is Sam's dad. And... we had an issue last episode where we didn't read out an email address, but I think it's okay for me to read out this one because the email address is samchaplinsdad@hotmail.com. The email reads as follows. Sam, it's your father. Please give me some other way to communicate with you besides emailing your podcast. It makes me very sad. All the best, Sam's dad.
All right, you can tell I was brought up by the Beano because I saw that earlier in the week in the mailbag, and I actually legitimately thought, oh, that is Sam from Sam's dad. Because I thought, like Dennis the Menace's dad is just known as Dennis's dad.
Yeah.
That your father would just be known as Sam's dad and have an email address that says Sam's
Well, we don't know. Maybe that's the email address that my dad has set up. I've also noticed that, in response to this email, sorry, Dad, Gmail is giving me automatic responses to this. So it's please give me some other way to communicate besides emailing your podcast. It makes me very sad. The automatic responses I can just click on here are, I'm sorry to hear that. Who are you? And thanks, I will.
Okay.
Who are you is my favourite there.
Can you do all three?
No, it won't let you just
merge all three. Because I feel all three I want to know. I feel like I'm in the game and I want all three options here at the moment.
But I am just going to send I'm sorry to hear that back to samchaplinsdad@hotmail.com and see if...
Yeah, I think so. Let's keep this going. Sam, ever since that fucking guy from Catfish took that really creepy picture in the elevator, saying it was like a safe space, even though he was a creep and all, the market's wide open for this catfish business. And I think we got one on the line here, because, Sam, I don't think that's your dad.
The jury's still out on that.
Can you imagine how long your dad's been catfishing you, Is he's thinking that he's your dad, and he's not, This is huge. This is literally the biggest episode of Catfish ever.
Stick around, folks. Stay tuned. We'll see how this all pans out.
Oh, man.
We've got some more questions here. This one is in from Charlie Crowley, and this was sent in on facebook.com/cinemaswirl. Charlie's question is as follows. Does ketchup belong in the fridge or pantry, brackets, shelf?
Fridge, Protestant, anywhere else, normal. That was, yeah.
You know what? I'm glad we're on common ground here, because I would say don't put it in the fridge. Now, people in the comments below that have argued that that's what it says on the label. It says put it in the fridge, but who reads the fucking label,
Yeah, it also says if you're not satisfied with this product to contact them, and I've never been satisfied with ketchup as a concept. I'm not going to fucking write, so... fuck you, bottle, I'm not listening to you, yeah? But I think the reason stands is this, Sam, is that obviously, if you put your tomatoes in the fridge, awful time, because they get hard, the flavour's all in the liquid, and the liquid doesn't come out. You should put your tomatoes at room temperature after you slice them as well. And I think the same goes for the tomato ketchup, because I am assured there's a large amount of actual tomato in there, and being at room temperature would allow those natural flavours to come out. Sam, 8 tomatoes my mother had in the fridge over Christmas. Yeah. I was mortified. My
instinct would be to have tomatoes in the fridge, but but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they're a fruit, and fruit goes in a room temperature fruit bowl.
It does, and Sam, you will taste the tastiest tomatoes ever. You'll kind of go, oh, I've got that hothouse tomato sensation just from the ones I got down in the shop. So there you go.
Ah, okay, interesting. But I'm glad we agreed on that. That's made me genuinely very happy.
But if you're one of those people who put ketchup in your fridge, we will come to your house and we will physically take it out. Like, we will just take it out.
I don't want like cold sauce on my hot dinner.
Yeah.
Like chilled sauce.
Let's dip our chips into this cold red sorbet. Delicious.
Give me that room temperature sauce.
It's a sauce, not a velouté.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn right. This next question comes in from Chris Smith, who asks, subtitles or dubbed?
Oh, right. This is the anime business, isn't it? Funnily enough, I'll always throw up them. I'm going to say both, like a Philistine.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, house policy here, where I am. Everything that's on the telly, we put on the subtitles.
I've started doing that.
Yeah, it's the best. Often there's dual screening. Often there's people editing audio. There's all sorts going on here.
It's a creative hub.
It is, exactly, Sam. So you got put your subtitles on, like. So I have often heard that listening to the original, in anime, not going for your dubbings, that is often the best way, and I think historically that has been the case. But some of the more recent dubs from the big box animes that have come out, I think that you go, okay, you get Christian Bale if you don't listen to the dub. Come on, go listen to Howl's Moving Castle with Christian Bale.
I think there's some very good quality dubs out there. Ordinarily, I would say I would agree with the kind of old-fashioned kind of subtitles is the authentic way to watch it.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that for the most part. However, for films that you want to watch in one sitting and pay attention to, I would say subtitles. But have you watched Tidying Up with Marie Kondo?
Marie Kondo, I have.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that, but I realised very quickly that I was going to struggle because there's subtitle bits. And with programs like that, I just like to kind of look at my phone and do other stuff while I have something nice on in the background.
Oh, well, you can't do that.
And I miss bits. I miss big chunks of it, and I have to go back. And I gave up on it because I want to just watch nice, comforting tat TV. I'm sure it's very good.
Well, in fairness, Sam, they gave up on it as well after the second episode. It feels like as a concept. So don't worry. It's
doesn't spark joy.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And if Marie Kondo was here, I'd pick her up and I would thank her for helping me and all that, and then I would thank her and put her away, give her to friends or family or put her in the bin. Thank her for her service and bringing me on the journey and all that. But she no longer sparks joy for me. So I'm sorry. Is the bin for you, Marie Kondo?
Okay. Well, now, Kevin, that's all the questions we have for this week because I want to take you into a special feature that I've got for you.
Oh, a special feature?
Cue the music.
Whoa!
Yeah.
New year, new you, or new year, old habits die hard with a vengeance?
What I'm going to say is that it's been roughly 2 years, maybe longer. I can't really remember when I stopped drinking Pepsi and indeed caffeine on the whole.
Do you know what, Sam? That is how you know that you've properly kicked a habit, is when you've forgotten when it has been, because it's not out of your mind, it's out of your thought loop now. But yeah, why are you playing this music then?
What I will say to you is that, Kevin, I have had some Pepsi Max between the last time we recorded and now. AMA.
So, why?
AMA.
AMA?
AMA.
What happens in Canada when someone wants to do an AMA and then they say A at the end, and then it's like, what?
AMA,
AMA, the American Association of what? It's going to be very big then, isn't it? Right, my A. Yeah, my A, my ask.
Yep.
Because I can MA anything for you.
You can be anything.
Why?
Because I was thirsty.
Yeah.
And I was in a car making quite a long journey.
Yeah.
And that was all that was in the car in terms of...
Did you get into Pepsi Man's car again? Did he just pull up and give you the long finger? Sam, I told you not to trust him. He has no eyes. He shouldn't be on the road.
It wasn't my car. I wasn't driving. So this was someone else's decision as to what drinks were in the car. And the only thing that was there was Pepsi Max.
So this fucking enabler is like, here, get into my car. We're going on a long journey. By the way, I've put in some of that heroin that you so like. Your favourite.
I was thirsty. I needed a drink. It was all that was available. I had to have it.
First question. How long until you realised that you were thirsty did you kind of... Like, was it like, oh, I'm thirsty, oh, gotta have it? Or was there the battle between Green Sam and Grey Sam in your head?
This was just before the new year, and I thought... I knew the Pepsi Max was in the car, because I was there when it was purchased. And it was purchased from the back of a fridge, so it got all icy.
Oh, Sam.
It got all icy. It was very cold. And
You're making even me want it, and it's fucking January, and I don't even like Pepsi.
I knew that was in the car, and I didn't even think to myself, oh, I need a drink as well. And so I knew it was there, and as soon as I became thirsty, I was like, I'm going to have some of that Pepsi Max.
Wow.
My attitude changed from, well, I'm never having that again, to just, why not? It doesn't matter. I don't think I'm going to get back into it full.
Oh.
Well, that's what they all say, innit?
That's what they all say.
I'll just have one cheeky one and it'll be fine, and then I'd wake up surrounded by Pepsi Max bottles.
Okay, are you secretly continuing to drink Pepsi Max in like a basement or a toilet or a boiler room or a dank hole?
Haven't had any since. I had it. I'll tell you what it was like. It was extremely strong.
Yeah, I imagine it would knock the socks off
it
you. Like.
Really was. It was maximum taste in there.
Did all these like kind of mates just kind of appear out of this like blue energy? Like
there was so much taste to it. It was really like it tasted too much for me. It was a bit sickly.
Sam, would you say that your reaction was, "Oh, that's good squishy," or thereabouts?
No, it was just like, oh, that's a bit stronger than I remember. I think I must have desensitized my taste buds to Pepsi Max.
Absolutely, you would have. And tell me, did it make you all jiggy? Did it make you all jig about? Like, were you all full of energy?
No, not really, because I only had like a little swig just to get me going.
Well, that's actually impressive that you managed to have just a swig, because as a syrupy drink, it notoriously makes one
you
thirstier.
more thirsty.
So that shows a willpower that I didn't think you would have had if you were to. Well, like if you're telling me you're at the level where you're going to have it, I would have thought you're then at the level where you're going to have one sip and no more.
If I'm going to have it, I'm going to have all of it all the time forever now. Yeah,
you're going to have a glug. Going to get your glug on.
I'm all right.
Where does this leave you then?
I don't know, because it leaves me in a place where the streak is broken. The streak's over.
It's over.
And it wasn't a big dramatic moment. It wasn't on some sort of charity live stream like it should have been. It was
Can you imagine the money that could have went? That you've literally just glugged away.
So, I don't know. I'm not sure what happens now. I don't want any more again. But if I... if someone offers me a cola or a caffeinated beverage, I'm going to be more tempted, because I'm just like, well, maybe.
Okay, Sam, all I'll say to you is that you need to retool that Pepsi Swirl logo so it's more like a Netflix docu-series where it's like... just so that when we come back to this, I feel if it's very upbeat and we're talking about you relapsing, it may give the wrong impression. So you need to strike a serious tone.
At the moment, this is not getting too serious, but I imagine we can come back, we can revisit this conversation later.
Go, wow.
Like, remember when you said you were just going to have the one? Do you remember that? Yeah. So that was Pepsi Swirl. It was nice to be back in Pepsi Swirl land again.
I cannot say the same. I'm worried about you, Sam.
To be honest, I just wanted an excuse to play the jingle.
Yeah, you can just listen to it yourself. Like, oh, God. Well, I feel kind of bad now about this, but I've got a new segment. It's called Chickens Coming Home to Roost. Ahoy there, cluck cluck. It's me, your old pal, Rooster Kevin Mahan, who's here in the egg dome with Sam Chaplin. Sam, your chickens have come home to roost. There's a lot of eggs on your plate, and it's going to end up all over your face. So, read out the results of the poll, please.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yes.
I understand. No, I thought you were just going to talk about like how you'd made some chicken, and it was nice.
Wait a minute. There's no actual chicken here.
Okay, welcome to The Chickens Have Come Home to Roost.
Baka.
This is the results of the poll.
No, wait, hang on. I want this to be like Brexit, so there should be a drum roll.
There should be Nigel Farage saying, yeah, we've probably fucked it.
Yeah, I've already done a run on the pound. It's all right. Like, come on, let's do it. Come on. Drum roll. Drum roll. Yes. There we go. Come on, baby.
In the fucking drum roll. Jesus.
Yes, here we go.
So the results of this We didn't know the results last time we recorded, and now we do.
Yeah, let's not be kidding ourselves. We knew the results when we recorded last time.
We didn't. There was still time.
There's still a whole day left.
The landscape of Cinema Swirl has changed. I don't know if you can tell just by the atmosphere here at Cinema Swirl Towers.
Yeah, because the atmosphere right now is a drum roll that has went on far too long. So stop the drum roll, all right? Let's stop it. A little bit of silence. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, can we fucking start the drum roll and read the result, please?
Okay, so
We've only got the drummer till 6.
the question we were asking the people was, crispy M&Ms are, and the options here were nice and not nice.
Yeah.
Not nice received 22% of the vote, which is very respectable. There were a lot of votes for this, by the way. It's 800 and something.
Jesus!
Yeah, people were quite passionate about this.
So that's very unanimous then.
So we can conclude that nice came in with 78% of the votes and won there.
Hang on a second. Let me crunch the numbers again. Oh, yeah.
Nice won. Fair and square.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, the stipulation of this...
What was the stipulation again?
Was that if Nice won, then I would have to watch... Well, you said another Lord of the Rings film.
You made a promise, Mr. Chaplin, and I don't mean to break it. I don't mean to.
In the comments below the vote, there are already people trying to find loopholes.
Oh, come on.
There was an animated Lord of the Rings film, and that would
People's
be
vote,
an animated...
fucking, come on, respect democracy, respect the decision.
I would argue that because I've seen Lord of the Rings The Two Towers, that makes it exempt from Cinema Swirl inclusion anyway, and the vote was just advisory, so it's not actually binding, so none of this matters, so I've got away with it. I don't have to watch it. That would be my argument. Kevin Mann, please take to the podium, and you have a few moments to respond.
I will be fair in the fact that I've completely dominated you. And much like in Civilization, if I was to have taken 9 of your cities and you begged me for peace on every turn, on the 10th turn I will give you a city back.
Sure.
You know, because I'm magnanimous like that.
Yeah.
You claim to have seen the movie before, Sam.
Yeah.
We're still in the Chickens Coming Home to Roost segment, but I need a new segment within this segment. We've been encapsulated. This is called Last Chance Saloon. That was a bullet ricocheting, okay? All right, we're here in the Root and Tootin' Last Chance Saloon.
Within the broader Chickens Coming Home to Roost.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, as part of Chickens Coming Home to Roost.
Part of Chickens Coming Home to Roost. Okay. The recurring bit of Chickens Coming Home to Roost. Everyone knows it's not Chickens Coming Home to Roost until we have a little bit of Last Chance Saloon. So, in Last Chance Saloon, I'm going to give you an option here, Sal, okay? Which is, if you can answer me these questions 3, Lord of the Rings, do not watch, have to, ye. Because if you can prove to me that you have a basic understanding of the movie, well then, what's the issue there, right?
Okay, sure. Do I have to answer all 3 correctly, or is it best of 3?
I'd say best of 3.
Best of 3, okay.
Best of 3, okay.
All right, deal.
Who resides in the Tower of Orthanc?
Who
resides in the Tower of Orthanc? I heard clicking there. Fuck off.
No, there wasn't. You could see me.
Keep them hands where I can see them. Hands in the air.
All right.
I've never thought I'd be able to use the phrase "hands in the air" and not have to follow up with "raise them like you just don't care." Like I'm finally.
What's the question? Who lives in the Tower of?
Who resides within the Tower of Orthanc?
Oh fuck. Sauron.
Wrong. Slime him.
Slime.
There's a button. It should have been.
Oh, I thought Slime was a character from fucking Lord of the Rings.
No.
Slime lives in the Tower of Orthanc.
It was Sauron. Sorry, my hotkeys were meant to be set up so when I press
what
F11,
did I say?
You said Sauron.
What's the answer?
Sauron.
Ah, come on. Wait, is Sauron a character?
Sauron is a character, yes. You don't even know if Sauron's a character, for fuck's sake.
And is Sauron a different character?
Yes.
They're different characters.
Yes!
Sauron and Sauron.
I'm starting to think you didn't even watch Fellowship of the Ring and you were in the room with me. If you weren't in the room with me, I would absolutely 100% think you didn't watch it.
Right.
Okay. We'll fucking go again.
Okay. Well, I need to get these 2 to stay in the game.
Okay. Find the halflings, Lurtz was instructed at the end of Fellowship of the Ring by Sauron. He did indeed find the halflings, but which ones?
Merry and Pippin.
Hey, very good.
Still in the game.
There we go.
See, now,
Okay.
the way you phrased that
Yep.
sounded like you were saying that I would think it was Frodo and Sam. But I think Merry and Pippin fucked off somewhere else and got lost or something. I can't remember what happened in the first one.
Final question.
So it was a guess.
Well, that's good. That is good. I'm glad you know that much at least. Okay.
Okay.
What happens to Gandalf? Briefly, just what in the movie, what happens to Gandalf? In the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, what happens to Gandalf?
That's the whole question.
That's the question.
What
Consider
happens
this
to
the
Gandalf?
long answer question. This is the part C. It's worth 6 marks. 6 points, middle one, please. And you will get a mark for your QWC, your quality of written communication. Or oral communication. Quack, in this case.
Okay. Something is coming back to me now.
Yeah.
What happened to the first one to Gandalf? Was he Gandalf the Grey in the first one?
You fucking tell me.
Okay.
Come on, answer the question.
He dyes one colour and comes back a slightly different shade of that colour.
Yeah, but why? What happened? What's he do? Where does he go?
Okay, so we're agreeing that he dies in the second
That
one.
happened in the first movie.
Did
Come
it?
on. Oh my god.
They fall into the...
Okay. I'll give you... Alright, you can have that one, or
Okay.
double or nothing. I'll give you one other chance, one other question.
Okay.
Okay, you gotta go for the gamble.
Yeah.
Who sounds the horn in Helm's Deep?
Who sounds the horn in Helm's Deep? Helm's Deep.
Sam, I'm gonna need an answer. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom,
Sauron.
ba-doom, 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 wrong.
Oh. Couldn't remember any of the fucking characters.
One of the buttons is meant to make J.K. Simmons from Whiplash come in and shout at you, and he's meant to be extra sweaty because I pressed shift as well. These are all wrong.
Who was it?
Gimli. The Hornberg will sound
Gimli.
one more time. Yes! And then he runs up.
Well, don't
So-
tell me what happens to Gandalf, because I guess I've got to find that out now.
Yeah. Gandalf does die, of course, at the end of the first movie when fighting the Balrog, but then he's brought back by the spirit world because his duty's not done yet. He returns to the forest as Gandalf the White. He is confronted by Merry and...
Don't tell me all this. I don't...
Okay.
We'll find it out later.
Well, there's plenty of look forward to when Cinema Swirl episode 42 will be
hold on.
episode 42 Towers, more like. My
Faulty
strong branding.
Towers, mate. Faulty Towers, because it's a shit film.
You know what this is, all right? If that's Faulty Towers, then you're Russell Brand and you're Jonathan Ross rigging up Manuel's granddaughter being naughty. And that's what you are then to this analogy.
My only hope when I got those questions wrong was that I would be able to delay what episode it was indefinitely. We will do it at some point and just keep pushing it back. But you're saying the next
42
episode
Towers.
is Lord of the Rings.
42 Towers. Yeah!
42 Towers. All right.
And thank you, everyone, for your help in this democracy, this democratic exercise, the most pertinent for an entire generation. And I'll assure you that the Two Towers, the deal for getting this episode recorded, will be implemented swiftly, without any chaos. It's going to be easy peasy, pudding and pie.
To the people who voted, Cinema Swell means nothing to you. So congratulations, you've ruined it. Well done.
But tell you what, though, guys, why don't we all enjoy some crispy M&Ms together, huh? Because
yeah.
thanks very much, guys, for listening to another episode of Last Chance Saloon. Let's throw it back to Kevin in the barn. Thanks, Kevin. And that's going to do it for... Oh, what the fuck was it? Chickens coming off to roost.
Right, we're back into Cinema Swell.
Wow, it feels like a lifetime ago,
Yeah.
huh? So today we're watching Full Metal Jacket from Stanley Kubrick. One of the early and most beloved episodes of this classic podcast is The Shining.
Yeah.
And Stanley Kubrick, The Shining, I believe, was the first movie of his that you checked out?
No, I'd seen The Clockwork Orange. Was the
That
only
was
other one I'd
it,
seen.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When I was far too young.
You've not seen any Kubrick since.
No, I've seen Clockwork Orange, Shining, and haven't seen any more.
Have you thought about The Shining much since we did that episode?
Yes. Just in my deepest, darkest nightmares, it occasionally fucking pops in there. The woman in the bath, just the shape of the pattern on the carpet keeps coming to my mind sometimes.
Interesting.
And that freaks me out. I think about that weird documentary full of theories that was a bit crap.
Yeah, I'm sorry everyone who recommended that to us. It was a bit...
I'm glad I watched it, but it was full of absolute stretches, wasn't it?
It was so many stretches. It's like, and you look, because he's telling you that he's done the moon landing, because if you look at the key, it says moon room on it. It doesn't. It says room fucking whatever. Come on, moon room. And then if you look up at the clouds, it's Stanley Kubrick having a wee. No, it's not.
And if you listen to the keys on the typewriter, Jack Nicholson's actually typing, I, Stanley Kubrick, filmed the moon landing, but it doesn't actually show that on the paper. You can tell by the position of the keys.
Well, I don't think we've really lifted the flagstone, so to speak, on the involvement of the Native Americans with the moon landing being faked, Sam. So I really thought we could spend some time kind of hammering out those theories here today. But Full Metal Jacket, is it one that you've heard of?
Yes.
What capacity have you heard of this movie?
I've heard the name. I like the poster. I feel
what's the poster that you like about it? We got the helmet with Born to Kill on it.
Well, yes. White background, helmet, Born to Kill. Very simple poster. Very effective poster. I like it. It was parodied in a PlayStation 1 game, I think, called Hogs of War.
Shit, you're right.
That had, like, Born to Grill or something on the...
Fucking sausages or something.
Just fucking sausages. Yeah, I like the poster. I like the name. I think it's been referenced in all sorts of places. Possibly The Simpsons. I think Homer's been in the army or the navy or something, and there's
so much Stanley Kubrick in The Simpsons. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So, what if it's been referenced? What type of things? Like, do you know any quotes or famous bits from the movie?
What's your something malfunction, you silly Burke? What is it? What's Major Malfunction?
Hey! Of course, Major Malfunction, who is promoted from Rear Admiral Malfunction, and then went on to become Field Marshal Malfunction, one of the greatest army strategists of our generation.
I know Major Malfunction. I know that there is something called the kind of Stanley Kubrick face shot or something like that, a way he films people looking a bit scary from, like, below. So I know there was some of that in The Shining with Jack Nicholson, and I think there was some of that with a character in Full Metal Jacket pulling a very scary face and kind of looking down kind of at the camera and maybe smiling or maybe grimacing or something.
I tell you, one thing which definitely I took away from that Shining documentary was that it did convince me that Stanley Kubrick overthinks, and like, well, not overthink in a bad way, but he puts in so much thought to every shot and everything. It's all on purpose. Allegedly.
Well, if you look at Stanley Kubrick filmography on Wikipedia, the gaps between films become longer and longer and longer, and I think that's just because he will labour so much over these films. The further he gets into his career, and the more he gets deep into filmmaking.
So, it's about war, Major Malfunction. What war?
Vietnam.
Sam, what, in your opinion, was the best war?
The Great War. Hence the name.
It was the Great L War, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why we'll never forget what a great war it was. Like, great job, everyone.
I don't have a favourite.
No?
No, do you?
Falklands.
Falklands
is good. Because I think Falklands was important to show that, that at any point, two random countries you reckon could not have no beef, could have a war, and it could escalate. So I thought it was kind of one of those important, like, just now, when we were in Ireland hearing about the Falklands War, we were like, well, now, isn't it just as well? Because, we're neutral, so anyone could have a war. So there now. And it was like sitting in and watching a heavy storm outside or something like that going, isn't it? Well, we're inside wearing our coats now, isn't it? So that's kind of the feeling we got from it, I think, as a nation.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of other wars I liked. The war on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all know the winner of that one.
Which is Narcos Season 2, streaming now on Netflix.
And the war on free speech.
Yeah.
Which is happening right now.
Yeah, because actually Sam had loads of real, hot takes, but they've been edited out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kevin, you can't say that.
Oh, you can't make jokes about editing out anything these days. It'll only get edited out. Fucking ridiculous.
So those are some of my favourite wars.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. I think that you're going to enjoy this movie because
Seymour Skinner was in Vietnam, wasn't he? He was in the Vietnam War.
It was, yes. I mean, Vietnam is something which I think I watched a lot of movies about growing up because when I was growing up in the 90s, there was a lot of directors who obviously either had experiences from their parents or from themselves being in the war. And it was a hot topic. It's not so much about Vietnam these days, but in the 80s and 90s, there was a shitload of movies about Vietnam. That is the war that my dad alluded to having been in when I found out that he was in the Army Reserves one summer when he was 16 in Galway, where he was able to get a pint for a threepence and he got free mashed potato and gravy. So and he drove an armoured car once, which was not the same as going to Vietnam, I now realise.
The war in Vietnam, that was in the 60s?
Late 60s, yeah.
Yeah, so I think 80s, 90s was sort of, well, even 70s was when enough time had passed to start making films about that war, if that makes sense.
Yeah, whereas I think these days it took a lot of time for the information to come back from those wars in those times and for it to be disseminated through books and scholars. And
and so some things were confidential and some things didn't come out for ages.
Yeah, and lots of stuff only came out because it got leaked. That movie, I don't know if you saw the movie about the Washington Post that came out with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. Really great. That was about a lot of the stuff about the Vietnam War, documents that got leaked. And the only reason we knew a lot about the war is because people purposely leaked documents from inside the government. It was very salacious stuff. But these days, they're just Snapchatting the war as it's happening. So it's all on your Instagram story anyway. Yeah. It's happening right now.
They just live stream war films to the cinemas as they're happening from the war. Like, you just go to the cinema and watch actual war. Which episode of Black Mirror was that, am I right?
I think Osama bin Laden is like the only lad who managed to actually be a villain in movies while he was still alive and being hunted. Like, it's like, let's just wait a couple of years, lads. Wait till John Cena says we can make movies about it.
What did John Cena say?
We have caught and compromised to a permanent end. Oh man, I'll never forget that Extreme Rules.
That's such a good euphemism for been killed, isn't it?
I'll tell you, Sam, right before I sat down, I got 2 roast sweet potatoes and some tuna, and I fucking compromised them to a permanent end. So are you excited to watch this? Now, this one it's difficult because I know the first half is fabulous. Many people complained about the second half. Have you ever heard anyone moan about this movie? Or
I saw a few people in the comments on the vote, but don't give me too much about what happens here. I think I have a gist that there's like training and then there's war.
Much like in real war.
Yeah. They do it in that order, don't they?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, training after the war was not much use in retrospect.
No. It was worth a try, but it went very badly wrong. No, I don't know too much about this, so I am curious. I am a fan of Kubrick's work that I've seen so far.
We've not seen many war movies on this world, though, have we?
Have we seen any war movies?
I don't think we have.
Is this our first war movie?
Is that really true? God, that's mad to think.
We've seen movies with, like... I mean, Predator was not a war movie, but it had people with guns in, like, a jungle.
That does not count.
Doesn't count.
I changed my vote for the Falklands to the war on predators. That is the war that I care about, like, you know. And I'm really thankful that people like Mr. Rodriguez are out there making movies about this noble effort that continues to this day.
I don't think we have done a war movie.
Fucking hell, that's crazy. Because I was like, oh no, what cowboys aren't war, are they? It's a type of war, but it's different.
No, we haven't.
Wow, that's mad to think. God, we got to do like a World War II swirl at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's a cracking war. Jesus, there's Nazis and everything. It's fucking mad. Okay. Jesus, it's crazy.
Well, let's get into some war then. You reckon?
Yeah, let's go do a cinema swirl. I see a red dawn and I want to send it back. I ordered a white dawn and this was the wrong one and I want to send it back, okay?
You beat me to the punch because I was going to say I see a football and I want to score a goal.
No, it's the goalkeepers that meant I see a football and I have to send it back.
Right. You know?
Which is the real sad thing about all footballers is that they love the game and they love the ball of the game itself.
They love the beautiful ball.
The eponymous football. But they're always kicking it away, like, you know, that's really sad, isn't it? Like, you know? Well, they say that war is hell. How was Full Metal Jacket for you, Sam?
That was an experience. That was good, I think.
It's a movie of 2 parts, I can definitely say that now.
Yes, and I liked one part more than the other part.
Really? Which part did you like more than the other part?
You know which one I liked more than the other part, Kevin, because it's the one that everyone else likes more than the other part, from what I could tell from a few comments in the vote.
It's the part that people like so much they decide to refer it as a good half, despite the fact it runs in a lean 40 minutes, and the apparently bad half, in inverted commas, runs in a lean 1 hour 20.
It's a good third and less good 2/3.
Yeah, I mean, we can't just say like we want to make something a half just because we like it more. I mean, come on, like, you know, if I gave you just the crust of the pizza and I said that was half, I mean, come on now, guys, that doesn't work that way. So we start things off with everyone doing the thing that they love most to do in the new year. Apparently this is a thing, haircuts.
What, in the new year?
Yeah, I know. 3 people I know, and like I was talking to them like the 2nd, 3rd of January, they're like, oh, I'm getting my haircut today because it's the new year. I'm like, what do you mean because it's the new year?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I kind of feel like going around to the barbers and kind of put my hands in my pockets going, you doing a roaring trade at the moment? Because I'm just
queuing out the door.
Well, everyone's in for the New Year haircuts, mate. Like, you know.
Never heard that. That's the thing.
New Year, new you, new hair.
This reminded me of a Blink-182 video.
Which one is that?
It's Feeling This.
Is that the one with the...
Some boys getting their heads shaved.
What do the boys do then?
Then they rebel and start trying to kiss the girls.
Are you kidding me?
Because Tom DeLonge is singing about sex. And so they want to fuck.
Whoa! Did Mom know when you got the record that's what they were talking about?
No, I downloaded it from an illegal source so that I didn't have to buy a CD with a parental advisory sticker on. Actually, this was the one from like 2003, so I think I was alright by then. My parents had, loosened up a bit.
I'm not a Sum 40. Sorry, I'm not a Blink 182
Get
fan.
Your number bands right, mate.
I'm not a fan, right? And I think that I could go down the route with this of apparently some of them are mad weird in the band or whatever. I'm sure they fucking are. I've done no research, but I mean. Was there a point where they all had to sit down as grown men in their 20s or 30s or fucking 60s, whatever it is now, and be like, are we cool with kind of just like pitching sex to children? Are we? Yeah, that's all for one and one for all. Yay! We'll be Blink 182 boys forever. I mean, surely that came up at some point. Like,
Kevin, every song's about sex. Come on. That's what all the kids listen to.
I know that. Hence, we had that classic Rolling Stones song, "Painted Sex." Was taking us out of the movie there. I was going to ask you, did you ever shave your head?
I never have. I
Really?
I can't remember the last time I had my hair like properly short. Like proper short.
You got the old high and tight going on at the moment.
I've got a little bit of a short haircut. I've not got long hair at the moment, but I don't think I've had it closely shaved since I was a very, very small child, and even then it wasn't, to that extent.
How tight we talking?
Number 1 or number 2?
All over?
No, not all over. That's the thing. I'd always have a bit on the top.
Sides, the bit on the top, I see.
The short back and sides, bit on the top. I've never had the full shave. I'm always tempted. I always think, maybe, but I've got a very big head. And I don't know what my skull looks like.
That's the thing. I'm really glad I shaved. Like, I did go through a period of shaving my head between the ages of like 12 and 14. Yeah, 12 and 14 I shaved my head a lot because, as you can tell from my hair, I had a bit of old problem hair. Like, it's massive and super thick and wiry. I hated, maintaining my hair as a teenage boy. So I was like, I'll just shave it all off.
How did that pan out?
Well, it actually, worked well in some cases because 1, it was very, very cheap. And 2, it meant that showers in the dormitories were a lot shorter affairs as a result. Because I'm in and, with this hair that I have, right, my hair, no fucking joke, it takes 4 hours to dry sometimes, like.
Jesus. And that's with a hairdryer.
Way! I live in a travel lodge, that's why. But I'm sure we've got some listeners with long hair who are probably going, that's nothing. My hair is still drying from when I was born. That's how long it is.
But you don't have, like, long hair. You just have
dense hair.
Lots of dense hair. Yeah.
And after I shaved it, it never grew back. It grew back differently. It did change it forever. Like it became darker in color. It became much tougher. And I always wondered, like, I'm very glad I did it because I did it in a German language college where a lot of boys were shaving their heads. And a lot of the boys found out that they had heads shaped like xenomorphs or the aliens and stuff. Like, you can have a crease back there. Mine, I got a beautiful rounded head. It's fabulous. It's like a smoothed celeriac out there. It's fabulous.
I don't know what mine looks like, and I'm scared to find out.
Well, that's it. If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't want to find out because, that's too long to grow back. And also, we're at the age now, Sam, where, what's up top, you don't be taking it for granted,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I suppose. That's true. It might never come back.
Spoken like two guys who clearly have not worried about turning bald, but have many friends who are.
I have worried a little bit about it.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's the biggest worry you've had? Like, did you ever scare at any point?
I think I'm a bit recedy, but it hasn't really gone any further back since I was about, like, a young child. So I don't know if it's actually going or if I just have quite a far back forehead.
You've got less of a fringe than when I first met you, but I wouldn't say that hairline's receding.
I don't know. I do worry about it, though. It is a concern. And I always think if it started to happen, I would lean into the full shave, but
yeah,
I don't know.
See, I know people who have historically said that to me, like,
and then they haven't fucking done it.
And then it's like, no, I'm gonna
when push
really
comes
try.
To shove, they really try.
I'm really gonna try. Like, oh man. Yeah. Well, you know what? If we do go bald, it'll just mean we're very, very ironic, and we'll, because we have hair, and then we won't have hair. That is irony.
Yeah.
And we can always just go in and get Joe to edit the graphic, the vector
it's like
graphic.
Hair when you don't have hair.
Fuck's sake. But I'm sure you can easily remove the hair from our Cinema Swirl avatars, so no big deal.
I might try doing that anyway, just to see how horrific it looks to just have these little bald cartoons.
Yeah, before you shave your head, Sam, remove it from your avatar and see how it looks.
See how it works for the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
That's important.
So we are in boot camp. And no, this isn't where we learn about shoes and how to sell them. This is where we learn how to become lean, mean, killing machines, because we were about the Marine Corps in that Vietnam. Now, I did do a little bit of a check. Vietnam War actually went on for fucking nearly 20 years. 55 to 75 officially.
How long were Americans involved in it?
Until 73, apparently.
Right.
So that's fucking forever. But like, there was kind of covert stuff and then full-scale invasion-y stuff and all that. We're introduced to the iconic character from this movie, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, who is their drill sergeant. And he is a fucking force of nature, this lad. This opening scene where everyone gets their head shaved, then straight away you're introduced to this guy, and I don't know, it's like first day of school and every job jitters rolled into one, except you're worried you might get killed. It is such an anxiety-inducing scene, this one.
Well,
he's fucking horrible.
He is horrible. He is a bit of a bastard, is what I've written here. It's interesting that we talked about Whiplash briefly before getting into this.
Yeah,
I got that similar kind of fucking vibe of like...
Totally.
Yeah. I think J.K. Simmons could inhabit this role very easily.
I'm just saying here...
And the other way around, you could swap those actors around.
I'm just saying here, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, you could have a great troupe of jazz drummers on your hands, and you wouldn't have known it with your rifle training and your this and your that.
But no, he comes across as a right prick, doesn't he, straight away? There's some great lines here about, turning them into killing machines, but until that day, you are pukes.
Ugh.
You are nothing but unorganised, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
Wowzers.
I don't know what grabastic is.
Grabastic is maybe...
I checked the subtitles to be like, what does that mean?
I think. Oh, I see now. We got the house rules here now. Our subtitles. Grabastic, I believe, with amphibians. Amphibians, because they go in and out of the water, they're just lecherous creeps, and they want to put their hands on everything.
They're grabby.
Like, yeah, very grabby, very very handsy, busy hands on the amphibians. So they have. We get introduced to one of our main characters, Joker, who jokes.
Yeah.
He's like, Private Joker, who the fuck are you? Man, why the chicken crossed the road, see? Oh, Private Joker, your witticisms will not get you out of this, the Vietnam War.
This is like when everyone tells Rocky he's like a funny guy and he always does jokes. Like, oh, Private Joker never tells an actual joke or is funny.
Yeah, if your idea of jokes is a bit of a John Wayne impression now and then, which, honestly, I'm going to ask you now, did you notice that he was doing a John Wayne impression half the time?
No.
Wasted on you then, isn't it?
It sort of seemed like What did he say in the John Wayne voice?
He said things like, well, first you gotta pick the peanuts out of my shit, and things of that nature.
Was John Wayne.
Yeah.
I thought he was just being a fucking weirdo.
Well, I mean, yeah, John Wayne is a fucking weirdo, like. And it's good because, I mean, any movie where you're using lots of horrible, derogatory, offensive terms against Asians, as it happened, of course, in the Vietnam War and many wars before and since, John Wayne's spirit is kind of was there on them on set almost, you know? Yeah. John Wayne kind of, once he hears the G word, he's kind of like, oh, I'll step up from hell for a second and see what... It was getting a little bit hot down there, if you know what I'm saying. So, my favourite line from Gunnery Sergeant Hartman is, how tall are you, Private? 5'6". 5'6"? I didn't know they stack shit that high.
That's very good. Some of them are like, oh, he says like, there's no racial discrimination here, and then proceeds to be racist.
Yeah, but he's like, Private Brown, you're black, and I'm going to give you both barrels.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but there are some quality insults here. There's some Malcolm Tucker level swearing going on. He keeps threatening everyone with PT, which I presume is where he just makes them play a very scary demo for Silent Hills on the PlayStation. A fate worse than death.
No, Sam, they're on 0 hours contracts. He's going to put part-time is what he's doing.
What is the PT that he's saying? I'll PT you. You'll do PT.
I see.
Personal trainer?
Hang on. Let's find out.
Okay.
With the magic of the internet. PT is physical training, so it is. Sam, let me see your war face. Way!
That's my war face. Way!
Upload your war face now using the hashtag FullMetalJackface. Do it on Instagram. Guys, as you can see, I'm wearing the Full Metal jacket from ASOS. I just think it's a great jacket. I happen to be wearing it in this picture. If you want to buy it, you can click through. It is great. Like, hashtag Warface. You will not laugh, you will not cry in war. That doesn't sound like much fun at all, does it? Like, I thought there'd be a few tears at least.
Yeah. At least, that's what I signed up for.
Oh yeah, tears and beers. That's what I thought war was all about.
Tears and beers. We meet Private Pyle.
Oh, poor old Private Pyle.
He can't stop smiling to begin with.
Has that ever happened to you where you compulsively can't stop smiling?
100%.
Really? I do not relate at all.
I suffer from getting very giggly at quite inopportune moments.
Oh, really? And do you get, like, smiley and you can't control it, like?
Yeah.
When you get scared good and proper, do you get, like, a little erection as well?
Get a big erection, mate.
Yeah.
Not the second bit. But so when I'm at the dentist, and the dentist is like putting his hands in my face, and he's really close to me, I find that fucking hilarious. That there's just someone so close to my face with his fingers all in my mouth.
It doesn't count though. The one time it happens is when someone is literally moving your mouth around. They can't tell. Like.
No, but it's really difficult for me not to laugh and smirk. I had that once particularly badly in an RE lesson in school. I can't remember why. Bad. I think someone near me was just dicking around and making jokes, and something got me to the point where I couldn't keep a straight face. It was excruciating. It actually kind of hurts when you're giggly that you can't.
Yeah. God,
trying to stop it.
I imagine that's horrible, but never experienced it.
To me, like, the funniest thing is not someone laughing, it's someone trying to stop themselves from laughing. And the saddest thing is not someone crying, it's someone trying to stop themselves from crying, trying to resist the crying.
Oh, yeah. Sam, that's beautiful. Well, on to more important matters. He keeps asking them all if they eat willies.
Yeah.
Do you eat willies, do you? No. I bet you do. I bet you had a whole plate load. You big willy eater. And how about you, Private Pyle? I bet loads of them you're having, huh? What are we having for Sunday lunch round yours, Private Pyle? A big roast willy, is it? Private Pyle, if you don't stop smiling, I'm going to skull fuck you.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's an odd thing to say to someone.
It is, but I feel that's what happened to me when I went to see Indiana Jones 4, is that I got skull fucked.
You got Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, Spielberg held me down and then Lucas skull fucked me, like. And I was like, what? Ain't it? What?
So, Pyle can't stop smiling. Can't help himself. He's just a happy dude. He's just a fun-loving guy.
Yeah.
He's behaving and he's saying the right thing. He's just got a smiley face.
War face, Sam, you know?
War face. He's got a smiley war face. And the choking bit, it really starts you off on a bad foot there, doesn't it?
And I mean, I don't know if you ever watched Band of Brothers, the HBO show. They have a big section of that is based when they're doing, their training in boot camp and all that. And it is similarly horrible, but it seems to be like it's dialed up. And I know, like, this movie was made, like, Kubrick, as he said, does fuckloads of research. It's based off of a short story, I believe, that was, or a short novel that was released about people's experience in the Vietnam War. And he spent like 3 years talking with a guy who had basically been in Joker's position, where he had been in Vietnam and had written about it. It was a war that people didn't like. It was unpopular, so they had to try and dehumanize the people. And that's kind of one of the main themes of the movie, is like kind of the army's ability to literally turn you into a killing machine, like not just as a branding exercise.
No, yeah.
I don't know what I've been told. Blink 182 years. Blink 100.
Come on.
Blink 180. Blink 182 years old. I like the good old rhyming. I didn't know that the old army would be big into their rhyming this much, would they?
They do like a sing-song, don't they?
They do, yeah.
That would be my favourite bit, I think. Also, because this is a Stanley Kubrick film, we get some very nice shots here. We get some very beautiful-looking things every now and then. There's a shot of these guys climbing, doing their physical training over some obstacles with a sunset behind them, and they're all silhouetted. And it's just great. It's just such a fucking brilliant shot of just some guys doing their army training. But it's shot so wonderfully. The colours are so warm.
Yeah, it's a very, like...
I feel like that was in The Simpsons. The bit where Bart and Lisa are doing... Where are they? They're like Camp Grenada or whatever.
Camp Grenada?
Where are they?
That was when they went to military school.
Oh, yeah.
Bart was sent, and Lisa insisted, saying the whole episode is basically meant to be like a Full Metal Jacket kind of. So yeah, I mean, also as well, the guy who does Hartman, he's the episode where Sideshow Bob is the nuclear device. He basically plays the exact same character. Colonel Hebba Blab,
Ah, yeah.
You don't open this door, I'm gonna kick it down and rip it. He's an iconic voice in of himself. I was gonna ask, right, with all these drills, how much of the whole kind of baton twirling fucking boys brigade ass shit do you have to do with all this spinning of rifles? It's like, quickly, here come the enemy.
Spin your rifle
fucking spin it around, like you spun it the wrong way round. It's not charged up now.
I don't know how much of that is involved in. I think it's just the repetition of obeying orders. I think
they're trying to drill it into you almost.
Well, there we are. I've noticed when they're doing their sing-songs, it's very clear diction. But when these drill sergeants are saying left and right, those words,
There is literally a part where they're running, and I had the subtitles on, and the elector's like, you know what, we're going to sit this one out, because just him going, you're bouncing. It sounds like fucking characters from Animal Crossing or something, like,
I don't know why that happened. Why can't you just say left, right, not,
how about L-or, or east-west, 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 like.
There used to be a fruit seller in town, in Nottingham, who would say £3 bananas, £1. But it would just come out like that, and that would just be. It felt like that.
Oh, I thought he was supporting the local side when he was doing that. I bought bananas off him because I thought I was supporting the local team.
Right.
So you gotta fuck your gun if you're in the army. You gotta spoon it. You gotta make sweet love to it.
Give it a girl name.
What would you call your gun?
Jean.
Oh, why Jean?
I don't know. You know what? What happened, Kevin, was the first thing that came to my head. Said it.
If anyone else at home imagined a rifle with a pair of jeans on, congratulations. We're in the same club. Give you a little wink when I see you next, huh? I was going to call mine Guntilda. I figure I could piggyback off of some other intellectual property there.
What's a good gun girl name?
I don't know. Charlene is pretty good.
Cinemaswell@gmail.com. What's your gun girl name?
What have you called your gun?
Your girl gun. What is it?
I feel it should have a grand name like Victoria or something like that.
Like a regal thing? Elizabeth?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it should have a sophistication about it. Therefore, it wouldn't be used all the time. Don't take Elizabeth down off the shelf if it's not going to be fired. Yeah. If everyone in America names their guns a really fancy name, there could be less gun crime.
I think that's an approach that needs to be brought up that no one's thought of yet.
So we have the famous scene here now. This is my rifle, so it is. There are many like it, so there are, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best mate. It's my life. I must master it as I must master my life. Without me, my rifle is fucking rubbish. Without my rifle, I'm bang useless. I must fire me rifle true, so I should. I must shoot straighter than my enemy who's trying to kill me. I must shoot him before he shoots me, because if he shoots me, well, what's the point then?
Iconic stuff.
It is actually, there is an actual rifleman's creed you take in the Marine Corps.
Wait, but it's not that.
It was that. There's a modern version of it now, but if you're in the Marine Corps, you have to take the current text is, this is my rifle, there's many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend, it's my life. I must master it as I must master my life. It's much more about living your best life. Live, laugh, rifle. Without me, my rifle is useless. Without me, my rifle is useless. I must fire my rifle true. I must shoot it. That's all the same.
Yeah.
Here's very interesting. My rifle is human, even as I, because it is my life. I will learn it as a brother. I will learn it as a brother. I will learn its weaknesses, its strengths, its parts, its accessories, its sights, and its barrel. I will keep it clean and ready, even as I am clean and ready. We will become part of each other. We will. Before God, I swear this creed. Jesus fucking Christ, it's ominous.
Sexy, isn't it?
It is.
I want to fuck
All right,
that guy.
guys. I'm just going to go get in bed with the rifle real quick. Let's go do some swirl. A little one, that's all. So, Pyle is not having a good time at this, is he? Like,
no.
You know?
I mean, I'm going to say I was a big lad doing PE at school, and this is like that times a billion.
Get the fuck off my obstacle, chaplain! Get the fuck over my obstacle!
I can empathise with this so much. It's why I'm not in the army now.
Literally, that's it, like, you know.
I'm just a bit fat, so I can't do it.
I mean, I would hazard a guess that I didn't have this experience necessarily in PE because I wouldn't get to the point of attempting the obstacle to be given out. I do remember getting a hard time from certain teachers, but those teachers were kind of bullies who were bored doing shit in boarding school, I've come to learn. My actual PE teachers were pretty fucking, not say chill, but they were just a bit rubbish. They didn't care enough about me as a student to actually want to motivate me, to even have misguided motivation to be like, I'll give a bit of this. But I remember, like, when I was teaching, I had serious issues with some of the PE teachers with how they treated the students. I was like, you can't fucking talk to people that way. Like, I'm motivating them. I was like, you're making children cry. Find a fucking better way to motivate them, like, you know?
No,
Find a way to make someone do exercise that doesn't involve them feeling like they're Private Pyle in fucking Full Metal Jacket, like.
Yeah, no, this brings up quite a few old feelings. Did
they give you the business, Sam?
They did give me the business, so
What is the worst, nastiest thing that a PE teacher has said or done?
The thing I just remember is, like, there being things that everyone else could do very easily and that I would struggle with. And it wasn't like any kind of, PE teachers being full-on dicks. It's just the kind of, that feeling of lagging behind a bit and everyone being like, what the fuck's up with this guy? And trying your best, but being a bit of a lummox, you know?
Oh, so you didn't really get the business then, did you?
Oh, no, I didn't get the business. No, I just felt the business.
Oh, I see. So you had an internal business. Like.
I had internal business.
Internal business.
Which is...
Both internal barrels of the internal business?
Sounds like a film, doesn't it?
Internal business. Oh man, that could totally be.
It would have Pierce Brosnan in it.
It would, and it would have Geralt Butler, but you think he's the goodie, but he's the baddie.
Yeah.
It's set. You think it's a thriller, but it's actually an action movie.
Internal business. Yeah.
So Joker is a Protestant because he doesn't believe in the sacrosanct Virgin Mary. So he doesn't.
That's a strange question for Hartman to ask there.
Yeah, also, I must realize his name is Hartman as opposed to just the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket as he's more frequently known.
Yeah.
Sergeant Phil Hartman.
Yeah, so because he doesn't love the Virgin Mary,
and
when he's asked that question, the drill sergeant, Hartman, is saying, like, well, do you love the Virgin Mary? And he's like, no. It's like, well, why are you saying that? He's like, well, if I say the opposite to what I just said, I'll get in more trouble for reversing what I said. He's trying to do the right thing. But he gets put with Pyle as, I think, kind of a punishment there, really, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was really like it was a congratulations, you figured out how I've been doing that. You've worked out my very basic psychology. Like, yes,
okay.
if you did go back, I would have been more angry. And that's why he makes him squad commander, so he does get a bit of a boost from that. Like,
okay, I thought it was like, well, you don't believe in the Virgin Mary, so you're gonna have to look after Pyle, who, as we all know,
believe in this virgin instead. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he does. And Joker is really nice to him to begin with, isn't he?
Yeah, he just needs a little bit of peer mentoring. That's all that's going on here.
It shows that what Pyle needs is a softer touch. And he will eventually get the job done. Because he gets over the obstacles. He learns to maintain his gun. He learns to make his bed. He does all the stuff that he needs to do just because he's being instructed in a different way.
So he ends up being not a bad Marine, as they say.
No, it's as if different people benefit from different teaching styles, and no one benefits from being shouted at.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Marines are not allowed to die without permission. That is inconvenient. There is a lot of corpses who need to get a bit of a talking to, because you fucked up, you goddamn corpses. Do you think they call it the Marine Corps? Because mainly it is a banging, rhyming word.
What, to rhyme it with other fun things in songs?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say it one time more.
Yeah, probably.
Know? I love Marine Corps. It is not a bore. It is very easy. Marine Corps is not a chore. Despite what you may have heard.
If you pronounced it how it looks, your rhyming options are limited. I love Marine Corps. I don't want to be a corpse. You're kind of stuck after that.
Is there anything else that can rhyme with corpse?
I really don't think there is.
Well, that warps.
Warps.
Yeah. Warps? Yeah.
Warps,
okay.
corpse.
Just think about it. You could be the Marine Corps. I mean, see, calling the Marine Corps just literally sounds like a dead guy. And that guy's died without permission.
Hey, get a load of that Marine Corps.
You get a load of that Marine Corps. They died without permission. It's ridiculous. It's inspection time. Everyone stands on their locker with their hands out. They have to have the clean fingers. Gotta have clean toesies, clean beds. Making a bed with just sheets. Fuck that shit.
Not having that.
Just put me in, just say I'm a deserter. Put me in prison. I don't care. I'm not making.
Not doing it.
I'm not making a bed that is that uncomfortable and that hard to make.
Yeah. No, it's not worth it.
If it was that much work to get a nice snuggly duvet, I'd be like, okay, you can tempt me. And the uncomfy one was the hard one, But it's not fair otherwise.
No.
So Pyle unlocked his locker.
Yeah.
Now, in Marine Corps, that means you get in trouble. In my school, it's meant that your Game Boy Advance gets stolen. So, no deal.
Is that based on actual experience?
No, I actually did lock my locker. What happened is they lifted the paneling above my locker and took it out anyway. So,
okay.
And I lied to my parents and pretended I had a Game Boy Advance for 2 whole years until I was able to save up enough money to buy myself my own one. So I had a load of Game Boy Advance games just sitting from Christmas going, oh yeah, can't wait to play it. Didn't get stolen because I'm too anxious to tell you. Those are the real criminals there. I bet you didn't factor that in, huh? And guess what? You stole the Game Boy Advance, not the SP, and it ain't got no backlight, so enjoy your migraines!
So the Foot Locker has been unlocked.
Yeah, Jelly Donut Gate, mate.
Oh God, I've drawn loads of sad faces on my notes here, just to
Oh, there's 4. Wow.
Yeah, it's really sad. He snuck a donut from the mess hall, and now he's in a whole world of mess, isn't he?
He is. He's messed up, and particularly as well when he says jelly donut, which just for me now feels like instead of a jam donut, it feels like a donut filled with the pie jelly that we mentioned in the previous episode.
Imagine that if you had a lovely donut that you're really looking forward to as a nice treat, and you bit into it, and all that came out was pork pie jelly in the middle.
You know what? One time we got jelly donuts or jam, should I say, donuts in school once, and they obviously didn't defrost them right because they all looked lovely and they're under a heat lamp. And I go, yum, and there was
a solid.
It was a raspberry stone inside, essentially, that I bit into. Fucking horrible.
Oh God! So Drill Sergeant Hartman here, he I feel I've seen this tactic used before in some other situations here. He turns the other cadets...
Yeah.
Yeah, he turns them against Pyle rather than Pyle being punished. They're all punished.
Yeah, and he says you've not been doing... Like, the reason I've obviously failed is because you've not been doing your job. That's the only reason why he's not getting it. So they beat him with bars of soap, which I believe is how Leo beats his girlfriend Shelley in Twin Peaks, if anyone was interested. So
fun little bit of trivia there.
Little bit of horrible trivia for you there.
Yeah.
Allegedly, soap doesn't leave a bruise. Neither do phone books or oranges, apparently.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oranges?
Yeah, these are all bits of pop culture.
They don't leave bruises.
Yeah, you know what? It's the type of thing, Sam, where I don't want to alter my search history so much and, start putting in, like, ways to beat people and then,
oh, God, yeah, without leaving bruises.
My Instagram ads have just gotten to a point where it's like, oh, I might actually like that. And I don't want to be like, oh...
Do you want to start advertising soap on a rope to you?
Yeah, do you want to beat someone in private? Here's some hot links for you. Like, Are you interested in all of these musicians' autobiographies?
They make Joker hit him as well.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
The old ritual beatings, like.
Fine. It'll be alright.
I'm not going to lie, that bit reminded me of school quite a lot.
Well, you went to a boarding school, didn't you?
Yes.
So this kind of shit, I imagine, happened.
Yes.
At some point.
It did. Lots. All the time.
I've never experienced any of this, but you might have been adjacent to it or even involved in it.
The worst happened to me was I had candle wax poured all over me when I was in my first year. Right. We had a tradition in my school called White Lady Night, where the 18 and 19-year-old men would go down and beat the shit out of 11-year-old and 12-year-old boys and pour candle wax over them and stuff like that.
Oh.
Originally it was meant to be like, we all dress up and it's a bit of a tribute to some old fucking thing and we, it's just a bit of a boo and a ah. But then it just became people beating each other up, beating up
pouring
children.
Wax on people.
Pouring wax on them, and honestly though, the funniest thing was when wax was poured on me, it was such a, it's not happened before or since. I just remember kind of going, wait, what is that? What? Oh, it's wax. Oh, that'll just come off. Oh, look at that. Oh. I was just kind of a bit confused going, what? Oh, all right.
Well, it doesn't leave a mark. That's a thing.
I was lucky. I got waxed. I didn't get actually ritually beaten, which happened to many other students. So,
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
In your school?
Yeah, but then they gave us a hamper of sweets afterwards because we complained. And they were like, okay, guys, we'll give you a hamper of sweets. It's like, guys, when we were beating you, we didn't mean it. We
Wait,
meant
you complained to the people who poured wax on you?
No, we complained to the deans, and then they made the older students buy us some. So I got a toffee crisp out of it.
Right, I thought you did this direct. I thought you went to the kids who beat you up and were just like, guys, that was out of order. And they're like, you know what, you're right.
Guys, that was bang out of order. And I feel you should give me a toffee crisp, really. I got a toffee crisp out of it,
Yeah.
I mean, I let the guy beside me in the other bunk who got literally beaten, I let him take 2 double-deckers because he earned those.
Yeah. Jeez.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesus. That may be a little hint for what we're doing at Easter time this year. Oh. Well, I feel we could go back and do a little bit more God shit, seeing as Passion of the Christ was such a fun episode.
Also, very popular episode.
We did used to, in school as well, we had a special boarding school Christmas dinner before we would go home. We'd sing a Happy Birthday Jesus, that was a tradition that we used to do.
Right.
And the priests would smile, so they would.
Oh, well, that's nice.
They were mostly, old and shit, they didn't know what was going on.
No, they're just smiling at anything.
Is that the way, an older person will recognise the name and just go, oh, yes. They recognise Jesus, we know that one. Oh, LJC, what, from the Bible? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Fortnite. Yeah.
He's our bloody favourite, mates. Pyle gets simultaneously very good and very weird once rifle training starts.
Yes, and that freaked me out a bit. Also, what I found quite funny, and I hope this was meant to be sort of bleakly funny, was that the drill sergeant, he's chatting to all the lads and giving examples of murderers and how good they were at shooting. And what did they have in common? They're all Marines. And give the Marines some motivation and they can shoot from really far away. But his examples are,
Lee Harvey Oswald and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny in a really sad way.
The good old days when high-profile murderers and killers were all trained by the Marine Corps. Now it's just, apps and shit and YouTube.
YouTube tutorials.
You need a YouTube and a 3D printer. That's all you need these days.
So Pyle's chatting to his gun. He's getting really good at shooting. In fact, the drill sergeant is kind of proud of him at one point. He says, we found something that you're good at.
And he makes infantry because he's got dead aim. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Pyle, he also plays Kingpin in the new...
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Very good.
It's graduation. John Hurt still has not shown up in any of these graduations.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me.
And then Pyle only bloody goes and dons the full metal jacket. He puts it on, he zips it up,
Looks at camera and says,
Looks at the camera.
This is a pretty nice full metal jacket.
Full metal jacket, I imagine, have a lot of zips.
Yes.
And the more zips you have on your jacket, the cooler you are.
That's the rule.
It is the real, like,
the rule. The more stuff you can carry in your jacket. Well, it doesn't even have to have pockets. You can just have zips that don't lead anywhere. Fake zips.
So Sam, he goes full metal jacket.
Yeah.
Give us a sense of what goes down here. We have our scary angles, as you mentioned earlier. These are some fucking ominous, and the fucking dark wave synth we have as well.
The subtitles here said in square brackets, like, somber music playing, but it was creepy music playing. It was
not
somber.
somber. Come on.
So Pyle, he's graduated, he's got into infantry. He's actually kind of done it. He's made it through, and he's got there in the end.
He's been made into a killing machine, that's the thing. He's been dehumanized.
It's too much for him. He's in the loos, and he's looking super creepy.
And not like someone normally would in the loos looking creepy for a different
not
reason.
Not that kind of creepy, like murderous creepy.
I've done a really big shit or something like that, coming out looking a bit creepy. Like, what have you done in there? Why is the seat so warm?
I don't think Pyle did a poo. He might have done. We don't know. That might have been why he was there in the first place, but he brought his gun. So he looks really scary. We get the shot of his kind of smile that's kind of horrifying. It's a very good shot, and it's
I'm like, oh, you ain't the Joker, okay? What are you doing with that smile, Joker. And then, of course, he has the famous line, living in a world of shit, living in the first lane. And then he shoots his drill sergeant, and then himself.
Yeah. Well, we get major malfunction as well.
Major malfunction.
That's the last thing that is said by the drill sergeant.
No one ever says numbnuts afterwards. They go, what is your major malfunction?
Numbnuts.
That's gotta go as one of the worst, last, lines ever spoken by someone. I mean, damn, that's gonna be what your last word. What is your major malfunction? Well,
he says that and then starts saying some other shit and gets shot.
Didn't your mama and daddy give you enough loving?
Yeah.
Well, obviously not.
No. Bang. Yeah.
And then we are hurtled unwittingly into the supposed less good second half, much larger part of the film.
Yeah. I mean, that segment, which is about the length of a US TV drama.
Yeah, it is. It's a HBO, isn't it?
It's a solid 40-45. And it does feel like it could just be its own self-contained thing. It has a start, a middle, and an end. It has a kind of a message.
It has this obvious central character who is Pyle. Because, honestly, Joker, Cowboy, the rest of them, everyone's fucking bald and shaved head. And how come the only two protagonists, other than Pyle, both wear fucking glasses as well? It's like, I don't care about Joker at this point, and now he's at war, and I think that's a big fuck up.
Yeah, you establish two very good, very compelling lead characters here in the drill sergeant himself and Pyle, and then they're gone for the majority of the movie, which, is it's not ideal. I get why.
This is like in wrestling when Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker left at the same time.
Yeah, it's it
is two like big stars. The reasons why you're watching are gone.
Wrestling kept happening, and there were still some good people in wrestling, but it didn't feel the same, did it?
No, it took too long to actually care about those people. Yeah, exactly.
You've not built those people up in the first place. You've banked on your big stars, and once they're suddenly gone, you haven't made main eventers out of the mid-carders. God, this is getting a bit smarky now.
In fairness, Sam, though, I mean, Stanley Kubrick didn't know Private Pile was going to shoot himself. He could only, book the rest of the movie on the fly, The second half of this was written on the back of an old packet of Benson and Hedges, so it was.
Yeah.
And, we come to Ho Chi Minh City, where Joker, who is now living the La Vida Loca, indeed, he is a press man for Stars and Stripes, the magazine for the Marine Corps. And he's propositioned a very famous line here, "Me so horny, so me am." So he's been propositioned by the prostitutes in Vietnam.
I now realise where a lot of racist jokes come from.
Yeah, South
like
Park
love
this one, so they did indeed.
Yeah. I thought that's where that bad thing comes from. Oh, it's where that bad thing comes from as well. Oh, and that one. There's like a three or four key phrases here that we get.
I mean, I will say it is definitely, I'm under no false illusions here, this was definitely done and is probably very accurate to represent the verbiage of the time and whatnot.
I know.
And I probably definitely wasn't Stanley Kubrick's intention to enable a whole generation of bigots, but he did in his own little way.
Yes, I know that there is an authenticity to some of the more difficult language in this.
It's some fucking serious salt and pepper on the old hateful language in this. It was honestly, it was shocking. I guess it shows how much times have changed. Because I remember watching this movie a whole bunch. I saw this movie first when I was 8 years old. I remember seeing this way too young. And I think the last time I watched it, maybe it was around 10 years ago, maybe a little longer. And even still, I was just quite shocked watching it. How fucking on the nose. Both the black soldiers and all the Vietnamese. It's it's a fucking shit experience for them. That's not a nice old war, is it? But then again, what wars are?
Ain't war hell?
It is, yeah. And sure, they called ye limeys, so they did. And that was horrible for you, I imagine.
That was very mean. It's like calling someone chinny for having a big chin. I'll cut that out.
So we cut to the newspaper office where Joker is being a little bit of a jokesman with his commanding press officer.
Yeah.
It's kind of mild propaganda's going on here. The guy who's in charge, he knows exactly what the fuck the whole role of it is. It's mild propaganda. Everyone hates the war. It should put a smile on the grunt's face when they read it. The story should either have a happy ending or it should be, inspiring or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not there for actual reporting, which is what Joker's trying to do. And honestly, that, I don't really, know your audience, That's why we have high-profile analysis here, because only film buffs listen to Cinema Swirl. And I think Private Joker is laughing up the wrong tree here with his reports of wars where no one dies. Come on.
Put some death in there, mate. Key to any good story.
At least one person should die for it to have any sort of point to it.
I like the nicknames that they've accumulated from their drill sergeant have carried over into their actual war life.
Yeah, I accidentally wrote down here the shit. I'm thinking that was someone's nickname, they're called the shit. But they're talking about being in the shit.
The shit, yeah.
You got Newbie Raffman who wants to get out on the front line because he's all salty. And then everyone's kind of everyone who's at the base where they are is somewhere relatively safe. So everyone's either been somewhere horrible or has not been at all. So everyone's kind of a little bit on edge because they mention things like the stare, when you've been out in the field for too long and you just kind of get a bit...
1,000-yard stare?
Yeah, that's it.
Which I always get confused with Thousand Island dressing.
I've had a 1,000-yard stare after a Thousand Island dressing, It's quite rubbish. It's a bit tart for me.
Okay.
Give me Russian dressing or give me death. That's what I say. So the base gets attacked on Tet, and Tet is Tet's the business in Vietnam. It's Christmas and New Year's and Easter and Pancake Saturday all rolled into one.
There's this Tet ceasefire, isn't there?
There's meant to be, yeah, because they're and Joker, he's got the word in the street there's going to be an attack, and he's like, nah, nothing's going to happen, and something only does, yeah.
Yeah.
I sat Tet out this year as well, but that's just me,
Yeah, you do. No shooting on Tet.
No shooting on Tet,
me neither.
I shoot off my mouth on Tet, but that's about it,
Make Tet sound like it's an app that you just post rants on. I shoot my mouth off on Tet.
Hashtag get Tet,
Post this
what's
on
he been
Tet.
doing? Oh, he's been shooting his mouth off on Tet again, He just wants to add to his Tet story, that's all. He's just looking for hits. It's becoming a bit of a shit sandwich, this war, and we're all going to have to take a bite. Lovely, disgusting phrase there.
Yeah.
Sam, what is the worst sandwich you've ever had. Go.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think I've had any particularly bad sandwiches.
Really?
I don't like a crisp sandwich or a chip butty.
You don't?
No.
Oh,
Well, actually,
man.
I don't like a chip butty because I've had a chip butty. I've never had a crisp sandwich.
I've eaten my dinner, and literally the exact second you said that, I went from a state of being here and now and to being very hungry. Like, a crisp sandwich is a beautiful thing.
I've never had one.
Oh,
The
Sam.
idea of it makes me feel a bit queasy.
Why?
I don't know. It's something about the texture of crisps in a sandwich.
Oh, it has to be very
they're
cheap bread.
Do you have butter on the bread?
You do. You have thick
Oh,
butter.
I don't like butter and crisps and bread. Those are like... I like butter and bread, but I don't like crisps being in there.
You know the way they say that there's certain genes that people have that will determine life expectancy? You've got the gene where you find the concept of a crisp sandwich disgusting, and therefore you have an average of a +5 higher chance of life expectancy. You know, I've not got that. I've got the crisp gene. You know,
What crisp goes in your crisp sandwiches?
traditionally it would be a cheese and onion, but a very and honestly,
like a Walker's?
I mean,
Like a
I love,
McCoy's?
you know what? I like a Walker's. I like a McCoy's. It's got to be Tato or honestly, truthfully, King Crisp, and that would be in Ireland now. All the listeners would be going, yes, Kevin, you
King
do, because
Crisp.
with the plain bread and the butter, you need a very breathtaking crisp, something that has slightly too much seasoning on it, a very dusty fucking ugh.
I've not had King Crisp, and neither have I had Tato, but I've heard good things about Tato from Irish folks.
Yeah, and you're not allowed them.
Am I not?
No, you're not. You're not allowed them.
I think I saw them in Tesco. I might get some and just eat them.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Stop! That is cultural appropriation. Stop it! Stop eating my culture. What little of it there is
Never.
left.
Gonna eat all the culture. Gonna gobble it down.
So Joker and Rathbun, they're off out in the field covering some of the action. All the bases have been hit on Tess. As they're flying over the helicopter, they meet my favourite character in the movie. Get some, man.
Get some.
Get some.
Get some.
Get some what? Bullets, you civilians.
Yeah, he is just shooting civilians, isn't he?
Yeah, he's shooting women, children, water buffalo. Yeah, everyone.
Fucking everything, mate. I was trying to work out who this guy was. He looked familiar. He looked a lot like Nick Offerman without a mustache. If he was like younger.
And he was jacked.
I actually looked it up to see if it was him, and it wasn't him. But I didn't actually look up to see who it really was.
Do you reckon if you were a detectorist, if this, because they're willy-nilly with the bullets in this movie, they shoot them fucking there is no, conserve your ammo, there's nothing of that really, even though they say it, everyone is shooting for fucking, it's Predator and they're killing the jungle. And they're not even shooting at shit half the time, they're shooting randomly at buildings and stuff. If you were a detectorist in Vietnam, it'd be rubbish, because there'd be so many shells everywhere.
Well, but then you could put all those full metal jackets together and make yourself a full metal jacket.
But do you think, in a Vietnamese version... Like a Vietnamese version of the detectorist, a bullet from an American rifle is the equivalent of a ring pull can. It's just, they're everywhere.
Another bullet.
Another one, How many
Probably.
necklaces can we make?
That guy, the Get Some guy,
Yeah.
does say quite a cool line, which is, ain't war hell, like that. I'm like,
Sure is.
Yeah, it is, because you're killing all the fucking civilians, you nut job, Jesus.
You're very dehumanized, aren't you?
Yeah, yucky.
It may seem a bit kind of par for the course now about seeing kind of the horrors of war and whatnot, but I remember watching a lot of Vietnam movies because my dad loves fucking war movies. He loves war movies and he loves westerns. I'm watching shit like Hamburger Hill and some real, honestly, quite tedious war movies. Hamburger Hill. I know, sounds delicious. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay.
It is not full of hamburgers, I checked. I literally watched, Dad's like, do you want to watch Hamburger Hill? I'm like, yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Can we go there?
It sounds like a film that would have all of the McDonald's cartoon characters in it.
Yeah, Hamburger Hill.
And Hamburglar.
I'm like, oh no, the pickles are
not that,
coming
is it?
from the pickle drumlins. No, it's not. It's just a place where lots of war happened. But a lot of the war movies, particularly the Vietnam War movies, because of the bad press that the war was getting, a lot of them are just simply quite, kind of, hey, feel sorry for these guys because the situation they're in is very shitty and it's very difficult, and that is very true to the experience. But very few people were willing to be like, hey, people are getting fucked up and there's some monsters fighting this war, and the methods of war are quite... I mean, you got napalm in that war as well,
Yeah.
This was quite, I think, shocking in many ways for some, and I know this movie didn't have a great reception when it came out, even though it came out in the 80s. I'm not sure if everyone was quite ready for their beloved Marines to be shat on quite so heavily.
Yeah.
Joker meets Cowboy.
Yay!
Yeah, he's still alive, which is good, I guess.
With the Lust Hog Squad.
Lust Hog Squad.
I want to join the Lust Hog Squad.
Is that DLC for Hogs of War? The sexy hogs of Lust Hog Squad. Yeah. So the group you're introduced to, it's kind of like, hey, camaraderie. Oh, there's a dead guy here. I'm not human anymore. Whoa, hey, look at you. Hey, I kill people. I'm racist, man. It's like,
It's all pretty yucky, isn't it?
It's like, you ever go to a house party, like, way, and by the time the can is opened, you're like, oh, this is not my scene. Get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
These people are fucked up. They're so weird. All out city assault, and it's fucking shit because mines go off immediately.
Yeah.
Tough break for Handjob.
Yes. Handjob, who presumably got that name from jerking off 10 times a day. And if that makes you a Section 8, Kevin, then send me home from the war, because...
Finish your sentence.
I was hoping by that point I would have some sort of reaction from you and I wouldn't have to finish it.
It's deathly silent, like...
You were just...
Because I was about to go like kind of, someone should get 13-year-old Kevin and fucking get him out of the Vietnam War. But I'm like, I'm not going to bother saying that. Like, and then you just come in, I wank 10 times a day.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny talking about wanking.
Oh dear. So we get the soldiers being interviewed. I don't know if you recognized Animal. I don't know if you ever saw Firefly or Chuck.
No.
Neither of those movies. That's one of the Baldwins. I think Adam.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like a Baldwin?
One of the Baldwins, yeah.
Ah. Okay.
There's a million Baldwins, though. Like,
Yeah.
They interview all the soldiers to get all the varying opinions of the war. Like, should we be here? And some people are just kind of almost just like licking their fucking chops about killing and whatnot. And then there's some people who are kind of obviously a bit don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
And there's people like Joker who are like, screw you, man. I don't care what y'all think. I'm here to enjoy the culture and kill people. Excuse me, young man. I thought you were merely going to blink 182 times. I didn't know you'd be talking about any of this nonsense.
I like the little talking heads as a framing device for getting people to,
Talk
say
about
stuff
war,
or kind of talk about war or show off a bit or be weird. It suddenly turns into like The Office, doesn't it? For a few seconds.
Everyone gives it a look like as
Yeah.
the Viet Cong put their stapler in jelly or whatever.
Yeah.
$15 seems to be the going rate for prostitutes in Hawaii.
It does, yeah.
So, this was approaching apprentice levels of negotiations here. Like, they got it down to $5. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What was the word that they used to describe the man's penis being too big? Humberto?
Beauchamp or something
Beauchamp.
like that? Beauchamp?
It's a beautiful word.
I think it sounds like Beauchamp.
I think it's the Vietnamese word for girth.
Yeah. Big old dick.
So the troop is lost. I like to refer to a group of Marines as a troop, like a wandering performing circus. They get lost and they're in for a deadly surprise because there's only a sniper. And this is the problem, actually, right? I just feel like it feels very disjointed talking at the moment. I don't think, that's the fault of the podcast. It's the fault of the fact this movie is, at this point, 5 or 6 very different set pieces. You've got newspaper office, Ho Chi Minh City. Now we're in the camp and now we're in the city. And it's all very, very different.
Yeah.
And now there's a sniper scene. It's just all random.
It's a bit easy to get lost as to where you are, which maybe is deliberate.
Yeah,
maybe.
War is hell, and war should, I guess it feels purposeless at this point. I guess that's the point.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was not having as much fun as I thought I would be at this point.
No. This isn't a fun movie. You know?
But like I don't know about this, but I find myself now at the ripe age that I'm at. I find myself very often, even though movies I'd be very interested in, I'm sure I'd be very entertained, kind of going. I don't know, like I've had Angela's Ashes on the watch list to show Joe for ages, and it's it's a great movie, but it is a miserable piece. Of course you fucking haven't, but it's a miserable experience in its own right.
I could tell you that from the title, mate. I could have guessed that it's miserable.
What, Angela's
Ashes?
Ashes.
I mean, someone's had to die.
That's true. It's like the Big Lebowski.
Spoiler.
It's like fun ashes, like in that, But, I find myself now kind of going with movies where it's like, I know it'll be good and it'll be entertaining, but it may not be fun,
In my head, I just imagined an alternate universe where the Big Lebowski is called The Big Ashes. That's making me laugh so
Big
much.
ashes.
Big ashes.
So 8-Ball heads out to see what's going on, and he gets shot by a sniper. Almost like Boromir does, because he gets shot several times. He's like, Wah!
Yeah.
And why with Boromir? Do you remember what Boromir?
Got shot by an arrow.
Just, all I'll say is, to understand Faramir's arc, you really need to be going into Two Towers with a bit of Boromir knowledge in your back pocket.
Probably got to watch the first one again, haven't I?
Yeah, you should.
Fucking hell. Or at least listen to the podcast episode.
What, listen to you go, complain about it, like. No, I'd say don't, because you would be the best person to convince yourself to not enjoy the other one.
Okay.
It'll just be you telling you not to give the other one a chance.
Oh yeah, I was right. Yeah, Cowboy, he'd recently become squad leader because the other leader died.
Yeah, it's a bit of a theme here, like.
Yeah, no, you're the leader. And no one really knows what they're doing properly, and they're calling
no one's
through
listening to him either, because he's like, all right, everyone stay tight. He's like, what are you talking about? He's got shot. I'm going to run out, and he gets shot. Then Animal goes too, and he's like, it's okay, everyone come over. And then they go over, and then the Cowboy gets shot, and he dies.
Yeah, they're all kind of like, they're not kids, but they're not, they're all a bit clueless, aren't they?
They're dumb. I think they're...
That's not their fault, but they're just... It and I know we reference this a lot, but it is sometimes like watching things on The Apprentice.
It is,
where
yes.
there is a leader, but no one fucking knows what they're doing. And they're all just bickering and doing the wrong thing and talking over each other.
And they've all been led to believe that they can succeed at the task and in this process by going gung-ho, hell for leather, all guns blazing. And
going rogue.
It doesn't work. Like, there's no nuance to anything they do, because all they've been taught to do is like to kill and run and kill and don't worry, just kill.
Literally, like, kill everything that you see is one of the things that they are told.
This is like someone playing XCOM who's only ever played Gears of War. You know what I'm saying? And they're just putting them... It's like, I'll
tell you what, Kevin, I don't know what you're saying, but please continue.
That's like saying, Sam, that they're going into... No, I'm not going to bother a Tony Hawk's 4 analogy on you.
Is it like if they're playing Mario and Rabbids Unleashed or whatever it's called?
Yes, and they've only played Odyssey. That's it.
There we go.
Exactly.
You're not
considering the turn-based nature of your actions. Yeah, the strategy in here.
So, Animal Mother, he seems like a bit of a bastard initially.
He's a real piece of work, isn't he?
Real piece of work. But to be fair to him, his gung-ho attitude is because he doesn't want to leave his friends behind to just die on the battlefield, as it were.
Because he is the epitome of the Marine, which is, Marine Corps is a brotherhood. Even if they're dead, they're my brother, and I have to get them. No man
left behind.
Yeah, it's...
And, Cowboy's not doing that, and he gets shot for his trouble.
It's so shit and bleak where he's like, I can muscle through, and that's his last words. He dies. It's
I can hack it.
It's so unglamorous. I think that's the thing about this movie, is that it in no way romanticizes war at all. Because even the bits where they're like, yeah, and shooting the guns off, it's like you're wasting ammo, or you're killing civilians, or you're just fucking weird.
You
and
don't know what
like,
you're doing, and you're just kind of playing at war rather than actually doing it. Cowboy does die in Joker's arms as well, and they were old mates, and it's kind of sad and apt. I don't know.
I was hoping that Joker would be shot and he'd be like, oh, I'm dying up here. I'm like, yeah, no one's actually a joke soul movie. Ain't so funny now. And I guess if there is anything about this, it's kind of that Joker is learning that you can't be no fucking edgy alt-lords in a war environment to come out the other side still being your fucking adorable self.
Yeah.
He's slowly chipping away at him, whether he wants to admit it or not. No matter how much back sass he's got in the tank.
But the good news is that Animal's desire to save his friends just gets more people killed. And just goes horribly wrong.
You want to save your friend who's been shot? Well, why don't you save all these friends? Have all the shot friends in the world.
But they find the sniper, right?
Yes, and check your preconceived notions at the door, Sam, because the sniper is a lady. And I'm happy to say that we are living in a world now, 2019, where all boys and girls can be empowered and become snipers. And I like that.
This is like one of those riddles where it's like, but the doctor was the guy was the son of the doctor. How does that work? The doctor is a woman. The sniper is a woman.
I can't operate on this man. I'm a sniper who is a woman. I've got no training. I'll just kill him. That's all I'll do. Knowing me, I'll probably only shoot him. You know me.
And it's Rapper Man, it's Photographer Boy who saves the day here. Well, I say saves the day, shoots a woman.
So fucking, it's so grim because he shoots her, he's like, wow, yeah, baby,
Yeah.
level
Didn't I
up.
do
Where's
great?
my ability points? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna so specialize me.
Because he was bored of just being the photo boy and he wanted to be in the thick of it, in the shit, you know?
I think they implied that like he knew Joker somehow from like his mum knew his mum or something like
Right.
that. Like Joker like seems to be trying to keep him safe because you know,
Yeah.
when he was sent out to the field, he didn't want him to come with him. He wanted to keep him safe, and I think he just has that kind of he has that like late war like I want to get my action, I want to get my shots
I want
in.
to kill someone.
He what trigger time he said and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he's so
Which is not an Only Fools and Horses thing. It's totally different. Yeah.
Trigger Time was we got the one with Boise, and I thought Trigger Time, why my pitch? I sent you the script, BBC. The least you could do is acknowledge my efforts. The Trigger fandom want to know why you made a face when we pitched you.
That script really kind of fell through the bar, didn't it?
It really did.
Yeah.
Joker and Animal argue about what to do with the sniper who is praying and then muttering the phrase "shoot me" over and over again. It's fucking horrible. The music is jarring. This bit reminded me of The Shining quite a lot in terms of that music that gets under your skin and just gives you the fucking heebie-jeebies.
Joker doesn't want to leave her there to die. Animal kind of doesn't give a shit. And he's like, well, if you want to not leave her to die, you waste her. And I didn't know wasting someone, as in, killing, was a phrase used in anything outside of the Grand Theft Auto series.
Well, she's in the Warriors as well.
Oh, yeah.
I want him
didn't realise
alive,
it was
if possible,
thing.
if not wasted. So when Joker does shoot her, it's like, you don't even see her. It's all in his face, the whole shot. And like he doesn't even like react. It's fucking, he's not himself anymore,
Is that his first kill?
I think
No, maybe?
it's implied that he's been at conflicts, but he's always been a press guy, so this will be his first.
He's shot at people,
but not killed them up close. He may have killed someone, but confirmed kill. Yeah, this will probably be his first. And he rounds off the movie as they're singing Mickey Mouse songs, walking out of the city. I'm in a world of shit, but I am alive and I'm not afraid. So even Joker has become his own form of killing machine.
Yeah, we get a little bit of like reference back to Private Pile in that final speech, and also in the Mickey Mouse thing. I think I'm probably looking too much into this, but when the drill sergeant kind of bursts into the toilet, or head as it's called for some reason, he says like, "What's this Mickey Mouse bullshit?" or something like that as he comes in, and that last scene with Pile, with the gun and everything, when he comes in, he's like, "What's this Mickey Mouse shit?" And I think maybe it's to make you think of that. I don't know. It's weird that they're singing the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, it is kind of. I think in ways it kind of gets across that they are kids in their own way, type of thing. I don't know. Me personally, if I was in Vietnam, I would have sung the "They Might Be Giants" Mickey Mouse song. Hot dang, da diggity dang, Sam, how did you like Full Metal Jacket? Hey,
it was a game of a third and 2/3, wasn't it?
It was not a game of two halves.
No,
at the end of the day,
it's tough because I was extremely. I feel like I'm kind of copying off the opinions of people that I've seen on the internet here, but I feel like I was extremely impressed with the first bit and less interested and engaged with the second bit.
Yeah, I think that's often this is a movie, like a lot of Kubrick stuff that rewatches obviously help and all that. But I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't even remember the second half. I just no one quotes the second part of this movie, do they?
All the memorable stuff is in that first bit.
And that first bit is so good that I think that a lot of people want to kid themselves into thinking that second bit is better than it is. And I thought, this is the first time I've watched Full Metal Jacket where I've actually cared about Stanley Kubrick as a director and actually would be able to kind of go, oh, that's the type of a thing that he would do. Because when I watched it before, I didn't give a shit about directors. It wasn't something I was interested in. And I'm a bit interested in the old Stanley Kubrick stuff, particularly after The Shining. And I was trying to keep my eyes peeled for like loads of kind of bits and bobs. And surprisingly, there's not a whole lot of there is some. But there's not a lot of like essay work or symbolism or hidden meanings. There isn't the dissection of this like there is of like every other one of Kubrick's movies, it seems.
At least not on face value. I couldn't see as much stuff that you would be able to really dive into and concoct all sorts of theories about it. It was kind of presented as what it is. You know, it's a war film. It's presenting the kind of grim realities of war.
Is Vietnam, like, not part of the cultural zeitgeist anymore? Because I hazard to think it's not. If you think back to The Simpsons, you know, Principal Skinner, he was in Vietnam. Like, it permeated a lot of... Like, I remember in The Wonder Years, you know, his brother gets shipped off to Vietnam. Like, there's a lot of Vietnam stuff I remember from my childhood. And, like, I bet if you grabbed, like, a 17 or 18-year-old and went, yo, Vietnam movies or Vietnam things, what can you tell me about? They wouldn't know, like, and not to say that we all know what the Vietnam War is about, because it's fucking confusing as shit, vague stopping spread of communism. But, like, we'd all know the symbolism a bit of the Vietnam War, I imagine, from movies like this.
Forrest Gump had a big Vietnam War
bit. Yes, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from comics as well, Wolverine was in Vietnam all the fucking goddamn time. You know, Punisher was in Vietnam. You know, there was so much shit with Vietnam. And I think it's just, like, it's skipped a generation now, almost. It's not as pertinent, it feels, to discuss with the younger folks.
You still get plenty of World War II stuff.
Yeah, people still love World War II, because, well, they're still Nazis, so it's obviously pertinent, isn't it? So. Did you enjoy yourself? Because, I mean, that's really what it's about at the end of the day, right? If you enjoyed yourself.
I didn't not enjoy myself. That's a weird way of putting it.
You didn't have fun, did you? Or did you have fun?
It's not a fun movie.
No, it is not.
In parts, it's a very, very good movie. And even in the bit that we're sort of saying is the lesser half, and I'm just going to say half for the sake of it, there's some really cool, well-directed shots and things.
Yeah, particularly the cities when they're on fire and bombarded. It looks fucking beautiful.
It looks great.
Yeah. Really nice looking movie.
The choices of music are good.
Yeah, great soundtrack also as well of the time.
Yeah, there's Surfing Bird at one point, Boots Are Made for Walking, Painted Black at the end. There's some good stuff in there in terms of the soundtrack, the aesthetics of it, the visuals, the directing. It's all great. But it's just that first bit was so engaging and interesting and captivating. The characters were so good. And it was so tense and kind of uncomfortable and very easy to empathise with and be worried about and concerned about. And the second half, the characters weren't as interesting to me and their situation, while you can understand the situation they're in and how difficult it is, I just found it a bit tough to be as interested in that.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, I imagine like the first part, if you were to give that a star wipe weight, it would be quite high then, I imagine.
Yeah, it would. It's a difficult one because all the stuff that people see as iconic from this film, from what I'm aware of, is from that first bit. That, like, to me, the helmet with Born to Kill is the most culturally iconic part of the second half.
And that's more the film poster than the actual...
Yeah. It's a good poster, and there's good fonts on that poster. I love that poster. If I was to review the poster, 5 star wipes. Fucking great poster.
It's very, very interesting to see how you've gotten on with this, and I'm very interested to see the feedback from this.
Yeah,
I will need to press you for a star wipe rating, Sam.
Have I given half star wipes before?
We do not allow half star wipes.
Shit. This is tough because it's like somewhere between 3 and 4.
Is it more 3 or is it more 4?
Right, I'm going to say 4 star wipes because that first bit was so good, and that even if you... the second half is not bad. Second half is not terrible. It's still good, but it's just not as good compared to the first bit. But the first bit is so good that I think you can just close your eyes and your ears for the second half, and it would still be, I'm going to say 4 star wipes.
4 star wipes?
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Oh, hello. Thanks for listening to another episode of Cinema Swirl. This episode was produced by Kevin, it was edited by me, Sam, and the music was also by me. Remember, you can like us over on Facebook at facebook.com/cinemaswirl. You can follow us on Twitter, that's @cinemaswirl. And if you've got any questions, queries, comments, or other stuff, you can send it on over to cinemaswirl@gmail.com. That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. Remember, if you haven't already, to subscribe on iTunes or whichever podcast thing you use. And if you like the show, leave a review. And if you want to help us out, recommend us to a friend. Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.